I appreciate you tuning in to the latest episode of Conversations and Connections, the official podcast of the Family Crisis Center of East Texas. Before we begin, a few reminders. The SET conference, the Safer East Texas training, will be taking place on Wednesday, June the 10th. That'll be at the Pitzer Garrison Civic Center in Lufkin. And if you're not familiar with the SET training, this is ideal. If you are in law enforcement, if you're in the legal system in any, serve the legal system in any fashion, if you're a nurse or a social worker, you can get some continuing education hours if you attend this. This is something that we've been doing now for the past several years. Some of the topics that will be discussed will be the paramedics' role in domestic violence. We're also going to be talking about advanced dynamics in sexual grooming behaviors, and several other topics revolving around investigations, crime scenes, things like that. Again, some continuing education hours. There is a $25 admission, and they are wanting you to pre-register for that. Again, that will be on June the 10th. Also, coming up, we have the 2026 Blueberry Cupcake Battle. Of course, that'll be at the East Texas Blueberry Festival there in Nacogdoches. That'll be on Saturday, June the 13th. And if you've never been to the Cupcake Battle, let me tell you, you are really missing out on some of the creativity that our fellow East Texans have when it comes to baking those blueberry cupcakes. So if you're interested in either the SET training or registering for the Blueberry Cupcake Battle, all you need to do is contact Mallory Harris at the Family Crisis Center. That number is 936-639-1681, and she will give you more information. And if you want to register, you can register for that. My guest today is Megan Griffin. She is with the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council. Specifically, she is in charge of their PADRES program. This program is for parents of young children or soon-to-be parents who may either be dealing with substance abuse issues or have in the past, or if somebody just wants to gain some know-how and education about parenting. So without further ado, let's talk to Megan Griffin. Well, one thing I am surprised is when you came in, Megan, I thought you had been on the podcast before.
No, never done this before because I don't like talking. Valley tried to get me to come on it, but I was like, yeah, you go ahead.
Well, and and that may be what I'm thinking of because, whenever I invited you, because of the new podcast setup we have and everything now, I'm thinking, okay, well, Megan hasn't been on in a while. Let's go ahead and let's go full circle. Let her come back and we'll talk about something. And then when we were talking out in the hallway, you was like, no, I've never been on this. But I think your predecessor, Valley, has been on.
Yes,
probably.
She has.
Yeah. And it was kind of interesting, too. You were talking about how talking makes you nervous and you feel more comfortable with talking to a crowd?
Just a group, like my groups that we work with. I'm good with it, but if it's like a crowd or I'm standing up presenting, I start getting stressed.
Well, I'm maybe the opposite. I, of course, in another lifetime ago or even doing this, I used to be in radio, used to be in TV, and you could tell me 10,000 people were listening, 10,000 people were watching. Didn't bother me a bit. When you're in the studio, if it's in radio, a lot of times it's just you. If it's on TV, you have a few people running the cameras and that's it. But put me in a room talking to 30 people with 30 sets of eyes looking at me. Mm-hmm. That's a different feeling.
Yeah. For some reason, like during our meetings and stuff, I get nervous.
Really?
But when I'm with my people in groups and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's just talking back and forth, just relaxed and
Yeah.
no judgments or anything, in which I know in other meetings and stuff, they're not judging us, but
still, you're leaving an impression on people.
yes.
I think that's kind of what you're talking about. But yeah, no, hey man, if eyes are on me, of course, doing what I do now, I'm much more comfortable doing it. But yeah, you could tell me a million people were watching me on TV or listening to me on the radio. Hey, no problem, because I'm by myself in here right now.
Yes.
So, well, welcome. I'm glad you. I'm glad you had the opportunity to you were available to come and talk to me.
I appreciate you having me.
And I want to also start out by saying, if you listen to Megan talk, there is no doubt where you're from.
I feel like I talk normal, but apparently I'm very.
No, I love it. Where are you from?
I'm from Woden.
Oh, okay.
So right outside Nacogdoches.
Okay. So all your life you've been in this area, right?
I have.
Okay.
Don't think I could get out of this area. I'm not a city person at all.
But no, I did. Yeah, I always can recognize Megan, from a distance. If you're talking, I say, oh yeah, that's Megan, because I love the that East Texas accent. So kind of get down to what we're here today for. So people pretty much, I think, know or have heard about ADAC, the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council. Sometimes I still want to say abuse, but
I do
Alcohol and Drug
often.
Awareness Council, of course, in a nutshell, work with people who have issues with substance abuse, alcohol abuse, things like that. But you specifically are with the PADRES program.
I am.
What is that? Obviously, that's probably an acronym. What does that stand for?
It's Parenting Awareness Drug Risk Education Services.
Okay.
And we work with parents that have, or guardians, they don't have to be their biological parents, have kids under the age of 6 or expecting in their household.
Okay. So these people, what are the requirements? Like, do they have to have had a history in the past of drug abuse?
With our, with HHSC, they do want them to have some kind of abuse, like drug abuse or family violence as well. But we do work with some that, like the grandparents, they just have custody of like their grandkids, but they don't have any substance use.
Okay.
So we can work with them. They are very lenient about some of these things as long as they have a child under the age of 6 or expecting.
So I guess anybody out there that, hey man, I'm about to have this child. I don't know the first thing about parenting. They can attend this.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool.
They definitely can.
Oh, so what are the requirements as far as attending? Like how long is the program?
Well, we say it's 8 weeks, but they can stay with us up to a year in our program. They don't have to attend every group. It just depends on their CPS case and what they're requiring them as well. But we've had it up to 13 weeks, but we kind of broke it down to 8 weeks and combined the lessons so it doesn't like repeat itself.
Okay.
But we really want them to stay at least 13 weeks because we have a bunch of different lessons that we go through. And we want them to get all the lessons that they can to help them.
Are some people asked to attend or some people required to attend?
I would have to say probably about 95 are required by CPS courts to attend PADRES.
Okay.
There's very few that do just come in on their own, but they find out they need resources and they find out that we can help them with stuff. So that's what brings the people in that are not required by CPS, probation, parole, places like that.
So that can be an incentive. I get all these benefits if I do attend these sessions.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of people stay with us, because they do get benefits and resources from us as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And they say they learn a lot from us too. Thank goodness.
And that's good. And I know a little bit. I've come and spoken a few times at these. So I guess that kind of leads to what I want to ask you now. Like, what are the topics? Is there a set curriculum that is used?
We do have certain lessons by our SOW, which is statement of work, that we are required to give them, like substance use, hygiene, nurturing, things like that. We are required by our SOW to give to our parents.
And what is that, SOW?
SOW is statement of work.
Okay.
That is our statement of work breaks it down for us for our program, what we're required to do and how we do it as well. Yeah. Okay. And it shows us how many individuals we're supposed to see, how many alternative activities that we have to give a year as well.
Okay. So when you're doing these, is this always done in a classroom environment? I don't know. I've done some of these with you where it's done through Zoom, and some of it is in person. Are you still doing the Zoom sessions?
We are. Zoom is mostly for individuals that don't have transportation or are outside of where we have our groups at.
Okay.
We have in-person groups in Nacogdoches, Lufkin, as well as Livingston.
Okay.
So we offer both cases.
Yeah.
Because we do have a lot that don't have transportation to get there, or are in Houston County, other counties outside that can't make it.
So what are your thoughts on in-person versus remote and Zoom?
I'm more of an in-person.
Yeah.
It's more hands-on. They get more interaction than over Zoom, because Zoom, they get distracted by other things.
And, and I'm not making a dig on anything, but, I've done both with the PADRES. I've come in person and have done in-person presentations, and then I've done Zoom presentations. And my problem with Zoom, and this is anything, not just PADRES, but anytime I've done presentations, I start thinking, how many people are really paying attention to me right now? Because they're at home. Like you said, there are distractions, and there's another program that I will do Zoom presentations with every now and then that involves teens. And there's been so many times, when right before we begin, the person in charge of the meeting has to tell them, okay, everybody turn their lights on in their room. Everybody aim the camera towards them, and things like that. So I was just kind of wondering what your experience has been with that.
We do have requirements for them to get credit for the groups. They have to have their cameras on. They can't be distracted by other things. Yeah. And we do ask them questions to make sure they're paying attention, interacting, and understanding what they're taking away from our program.
Okay. Yeah. What's been your experience as far as like retention? Like how often do you have somebody that does it for a few weeks and then they bail out?
We have quite a few of those. We do. We have some that keep getting referred because it gets hard to get in touch with them. They'll come and do their screening that we have. Mm-hmm. That's to get them approved for our program. And then they just stop answering their phones. So we have to get in contact with their caseworker or whoever referred them to get interacting.
Well, what's the consequences? Like if they're required to attend these sessions and then they just quit showing up, I mean, what happens with them?
Usually that's with CPS. We can't force them to come because we're just a parenting program. Yep. We just give them the information, and there are times we get summons to court and we have to let them know, hey, they attended or they didn't attend. Yep. So that's going to hurt them in the long run to get their kids back. Okay.
I guess I was wondering also, like, if they don't show up after a while, are they cut off? Are they discharged from the program? And I guess it's kind of like with Will, my office mate, when he does the BIP program. He has guys that will attend for a while, then they'll quit, And it's kind of like what you said, we're just the facilitators. Hey, if you don't show up, it's not, that's on you. Yeah. But in turn, he has to tell their probation officer, hey, they're not coming. So I didn't know if you had to do that's kind of the same thing.
We do. That's pretty much the same thing. If we can't get in touch with them within 3 to 4 weeks, we give them 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And if we can't still get in touch with them, we call their whoever, probation, CPS, caseworkers, and just let them know, hey, they haven't been attending. They're not answering phones. So we are going to have to close them out. But if y'all are able to get in touch with them and get them to reach out to us, we can open them back up. So we just reopen them if they get in touch with us. And we keep in touch with whoever referred them at least once or twice a month, just whatever they're wanting. Okay. Sometimes it's more, just letting them know how they're doing, how many they've attended, and things like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Does any success stories come to mind? Like, have you ever seen somebody that's just exceeded your expectations and have really turned their life around and have really benefited to the max in this program?
I have. I actually talked to one. She was actually one of my first ones that was with PADRES when I first started. She has gotten her child back. She is actually working with the Texas Family Care Network. I was trying to figure out which one she was working with. Yeah. She has started a group with them to help parents that are in the same situation she was in.
Okay.
And she actually volunteers to come back and do peer-led groups, come and talk to the groups and tell them what she's gone through and what she's experienced and what she's taken away from our program as well.
Well, that's awesome. I'm sure that does your heart good when you hear somebody like that.
It really does.
Yeah.
And we want them to get their kids back, but they're not all success.
Sure.
It just depends on if they're really wanting that.
Right. One of the things, if I'm not mistaken, that I've heard you talk before, that a lot of times this isn't just going to a class and you're going to hear the lesson of the week or whatever. Sometimes you go out, lack for a better word, field trips, I guess, right?
We do. We try to show parents what they can do, or guardians, what they can do with their kids. Like, there's things around Lufkin that you can do for free, like the Forestry Museum. Mm-hmm. We love to go and take the kids, and especially if they have their kids. If they don't, they still join us just to see what they can do when they do get their kids back.
Yeah.
And then we will also pay for them to go bowling. We do, every year we do the zoo. We'll get them zoo passes for a full year so they can go and take their kids and bond and spend that family quality time together.
Okay. On average, about how many people are in a session?
It just all varies. Like, sometimes our Zooms are big, so we have to break them up. So we have different ones. We have one right now that has about 15 people on Zoom.
Okay.
In person, we have about the same amount in Lufkin. Nacogdoches, it's a little bit smaller. It's about 6 people. And then, but there's different days too. Livingston, right now we have about 6 people as well. It just fluctuates.
Okay. So right now, the in-person meetings, it's Lufkin, Nacogdoches,
and
Livingston.
Yes, sir.
Any plans to expand beyond that, or is that are you comfortable with these?
Right now, we're comfortable with these. We might. It just depends on, because our days we have so many groups going on, but right now we're good with these 3 counties doing it in person.
Well, and one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, and it's kind of like us, people know ADAC and they think, okay, well, they work with, if someone gets in trouble, and they're trying to get out of a alcohol or drug abuse situation. But I don't think a lot of people realize all these other programs that are in place, like Padres. And it's kind of like us at the Family Crisis Center. People know us for the women's shelter. They know us for the thrift stores. And they don't know about all these other things that we can do.
And we're just everybody judges us from being with ADAC.
Right.
They're like, well, we don't have a substance use issue or anything like that. We have to explain to them, we're just umbrellaed off of ADAC. We are just one of the programs that we have through ADAC. It doesn't mean you have to have a substance use problem. You just have a child under the age of 6 and you're with CPS, probation, whoever, or you're just needing that information.
Mm-hmm. So when you are at these sessions, you're talking about parenting skills, you're talking about nutrition, you're talking about different things like that. Do you ever specifically address substance abuse, alcohol abuse, and when it comes to the influence that can have on your child?
We do. That is actually one of our sessions that's required by our statement of work is fetal alcohol syndrome, substance use, and how it impacts them as well as their children and families.
Yeah. Okay.
That is one of the big ones that we do cover.
Right. Is there anything coming up within the next few weeks, few months that's specific to Padres? Any big events or anything?
We will be at the Blueberry Festival. We just did it was the Mayor's Committee for, I cannot remember the name of it, but it was in Nacogdoches, but we attended that and helped with that. It was at the Expo Center in Nacogdoches, but we will be at the Blueberry Festival coming up.
As so will we, of course. How long has the Padres program been in place?
It's been a little bit over 5 years, going on 6 years, because I came in when it pretty much first started.
All right.
Yes.
Well, speaking of that, let's kind of get a little bit of Megan's origin story here. What has been? What were you doing before you were at ADAC?
I've been a hairdresser for 20-something years now.
Wait, really?
Really?
I don't think I ever knew that. Do you still keep up with that? Do you still have your license to do
I still have my license. I keep that up. I do it every so often, not very often anymore, because I'm in school still and working keeps me busy.
So you're still in school. What are you doing in school?
Working on my second master's degree, and then I'll go back for my doctorates.
So you're going for everything.
They say I can be a professional student because I just keep going.
So what are your degrees in?
I have associates in criminal justice, a bachelor's in human science, which is family studies and child development. And then I have a master's in that same degree, and I'm working on my master's in criminal justice. So
when you eventually work up to your doctorate, what is that going to look like?
I'm planning on staying with Padres. I do want to probably teach on Zoom in the evenings, possibly. And then I do plan on working on getting my LCDC as well.
Okay. So what?